I'm here to drop this off because I think people need to know about it. And if they don't pay attention, that's okay by me because you're missing out on golden information. Okay. Like I said in the description for this video, this is about insecurities, judgment, and confidence. Okay. Those like three things are very closely intertwined in how they affect your ability to do pretty much anything. Okay. So I'm going to go in. Let me go ahead. I'm going to pull up my iPad because I love doing lots of little doodles for basically everything. Doodles are my favorite. And I've been getting super into this recently. I got this new app, and this dude is dealing with insecurities. Okay. We can call somebody, give him a name. What's this guy's name? Insecurities. Insecurity. Give him a name that starts with an I. He's dealing with insecurities. Again, we're talking about projecting. Okay. Projecting beliefs, projecting insecurities. We'll throw another person over here. We can call her Karen if we want to. Doesn't matter. Okay. Doesn't matter what we call her. Oh, let me get something knocked up here real quick. Okay. Just so you can see me in the corner. All right. So we're talking about, Karen's running around. Get her to stay right there. Okay. So if we're talking about projecting insecurities, what this is about is taking a insecurity that you have and applying it to the belief system of another person. Okay. So let me give you an example because examples make everything easier to understand. Okay. So if you've got an insecurity about teeth, you're insecure about your teeth for some reason. Maybe they're a little bit crooked. You got some stains on them or whatever. People made fun of you for your teeth when you were in elementary school, whatever the heck it is. Let's say that you have an insecurity with your teeth. And so what that insecurity projection would look like is this person isn't going to like me because they think my teeth are weird, or this person is going to think less of me because my teeth are weird, right? You're projecting your insecurity. This person, maybe not you, but this person is projecting an insecurity onto another person. They are applying a belief about themselves to another person. This is basically what they're doing when they are projecting. Let me pull this up. I'm going to draw a little box about this. What this person is saying is, I believe this to be true, therefore another person believes it to be true as well. That's basically what projection is. You're saying that you believe something, and so therefore it must mean that somebody else believes it too, right? That's what projecting is. Okay, so now let's get into this realm of, oh no, my battery's about to die. Okay, I'll have to make this quick. So let's talk about passing judgment and insecurities. We'll do passing judgment and insecurities. So there's a couple different ways that this pans out. There's either somebody else is passing judgment about you or you're passing judgment about someone else, okay? The reason why this one is so important is this is where that mirror principle comes in, right? The principle of the mirror is when you believe that someone is passing a judgment about you, what that's actually doing is it's highlighting your own insecurity, okay? So let's pretend for a second that this guy doesn't know that he has an insecurity about his teeth, okay? But he thinks this lady right here isn't going to like me because I have weird teeth, okay? What that is doing is it's highlighting his insecurity about his teeth because he thinks that somebody else is going to judge him for it. Okay. So when you get to that point where you identify that someone else is judging you for something, this is the point where we get to start to resolving our insecurities. Okay. So the first step in this is identifying when we think someone else is passing judgment about us. This is the first stop that we take. This is the first stop. because that's when you get to the point of acknowledgement. There's a problem. You have an insecurity, okay? So then where do you go? Next up is, the kind of like I said, the point of acceptance, which is I have an insecurity about XYZ. So this is the next stop that we make. You actually admit that you have an insecurity. One of these days, I will figure out how to use this more effectively. I have an insecurity about XYZ. Okay? This is the acceptance. This is the acceptance point. You say, I have an insecurity. Then when you acknowledge that you have an insecurity, you can do one of two things. Okay? You have two options. The first option, option 1, ignore the insecurity and let it rule your life. Or option 2, resolve the insecurity so that it has no power over you. These are your options. This is what you can do. Option 1, option 2. You can ignore your insecurity, pretend like it doesn't exist, and let it run your life. Or you can resolve the insecurity so it doesn't have any power over you. That's the ideal. Okay, that's the ideal, because as long as you have insecurity about something, you will have a lack of confidence. Okay, let me say this again. I'm going to put this over somewhere else. Okay, because this is really, really, really important. As long as you have an insecurity about something, you will have a lack of confidence. This is true. It is true, true, true. True, true, true. Truer words have not been spoken. You can trust me on this. You can take my word for it. I promise you that of all the things you've ever heard that may have been false, this is not one of them. Okay? So if you want to have more confidence, you have to resolve your insecurities. Okay? If you want to have more confidence, you have to resolve the insecurities that are taking away your confidence. Okay, so then how do you do that? Well, in this spot right here, this is basically the first step, right? This is the first step, is acknowledging that there is a problem, okay? Now, I'm not going to be pitching a 5-step process to get over insecurities. That's not what this is about. But it is true that if you can take anything and put it into a system, then it's easier to solve a problem, okay? So, and this is like true, you see it in any 12-step program or any intervention or whatever. It's that the first step to solving any problem is acknowledging that there's actually a problem. In this case, it's acknowledging that there is an insecurity about something. Okay? So that's the what, right? What is it? What's the insecurity? The next place that you have to go to is... And some people may not go here immediately. When did the insecurity surface? This matters. It matters when it surfaced. The reason it matters is because that is going to highlight the source of the insecurity, right? When you think about identifying, look, if you try to treat symptoms, then you will never resolve the problem. You have to identify the source of the problem, the cause of the problem, in order to resolve it, right? Band-aids don't help, okay? If you've got some sort of, bacterial infection, Band-aids won't help. You actually have to fight off the bacteria, okay? So identify when the insecurity started, so that you can identify what the source is, okay? Then the next place that you go to is, how did I feel when that insecurity was created? It's more of a question, sure, but that's where you go to next. How did you feel when that insecurity was created? And the wording around that is actually really important with when the insecurity was created. When it was created, okay? Because until it is created, it didn't exist. If someone has an insecurity about their teeth, it wasn't always there. It started at some point. Something happened at some point in time. Someone said something, someone did something. Societal programming says that it should be a certain way, and for you it's not, whatever it may be. At some point, you realized that whatever it is that exists for you that there's an insecurity about isn't consistent with how it should be, quote unquote, and then you feel insecure about it because there's something wrong with you. That's basically how insecurities work, okay? And then after you identify how you felt, that's when you start to go into the place of, it's questions. How would I like to feel instead? Okay. How do you want to feel instead? That's the next place, because what we're doing is we're creating a replacement emotion. Emotion is the source of everything. Any sort of behavior is driven by a thought. Any sort of thought is driven by an emotion, okay? So if you want to change any sort of behaviors or thoughts and all of that stuff, you have to get to the core emotion of what is driving that entire system, okay? So when you identify the insecurity, you identify when it surfaced, you identify how you were feeling when it was created, and you identify what you want to feel in place of that, then you can start working your way back to the surface. Keep going. You go back to the surface. You get to the point of emotion, and then you start asking yourself, what thoughts will enable me to feel the emotion that I want to feel about the thing that I'm insecure about? It's a question. What thoughts will enable the feeling? Because what we're doing here, let me edit this. 1 second to edit this. This sentence is way too long, right? What thoughts will enable me to feel the emotion that I want to feel about the thing that I, want to feel? So if you feel sad because you're insecure about your teeth, but you want to feel happy, then it's a question of what thoughts will enable that happiness. What thoughts do I have to create that will help me feel less insecure about my teeth? Okay, so now we're gonna go full circle back to this whole interaction between Jerry and Jane. I just made those names up. Okay, so Jerry's insecure about his teeth, and he gets all sad because he doesn't think that Jane over here is gonna like him because he has weird teeth, and because he's insecure about his teeth. He doesn't have any confidence because he thinks that she's going to judge him for his teeth, and because he doesn't have confidence, he's not going to go over and say hi to Jane and be like, hey Jane, do you want to have coffee sometime? Whatever, okay? But, okay, here's the thing. Jerry doesn't know how Jane feels about her teeth. Look, for all we know, Jane has totally messed up teeth and he hasn't seen it. Whatever. Okay? Or maybe she has great teeth, but she's still insecure about them because she used to have messed up teeth. But then, she got braces and whitener and all of that stuff, and now her smile's great, but she's still kind of insecure about it. Jerry doesn't know that. Okay? And here's the truth, is that they could both have the same insecurity, and then they can trauma bond if they want to over the kids that made fun of them for their teeth in elementary school and how stupid it is, right? And so this gets back into that place of what thoughts enable that feeling, right? Well, I want to feel happy, about this, insecurity that I have, or I want to feel good. I don't want to feel bad about it. What thoughts enable that? Well, I'm not the only person that has this insecurity. Maybe the people that I think are judging me for having this insecurity have that insecurity too, and it's not just me, right? Don't feel so alone, right? Feel a part of a group of people. Or maybe it's a feeling or a thought of people that judge me for having weird teeth are superficial, and that's nonsense. And anybody that, passes over me just because of the way my teeth are is stupid, whatever thoughts you have to do to empower that emotion that ultimately is going to resolve the insecurity. Okay. This is the whole thing. Let me go up here into another spot. I hope my iPad doesn't die soon. Okay. So we've got judgment, because I said this was all about judgment, insecurity, and confidence. So I'm going to put these words somewhere and try to make sense of this. Insecurity, confidence. I feel like this is one of those things where if you see judgment and lack of confidence together, what that's doing is it's highlighting an insecurity, right? If you've got judgment and you've got an insecurity, it's showing what you lack confidence in. And if you group together confidence and insecurity, there's a judgment, and that's that link. If you don't have insecurity, you're not going to have confidence. And ultimately, that's pointing to some sort of sense of judgment, okay? This is how you can almost use the ideas of judgment, insecurity, and confidence to point out where the missing link is, okay? If you think that someone's judging you for something and you feel a lack of confidence in related to that situation, then it means that you have an insecurity that you may or may not be aware of, blind spot, mental block, whatever it may be, okay? Likewise, let's go. If there's an insecurity, which is, fueling a lack of confidence, that's almost what I should put on this. Lack. Insecurity, lack of confidence. You know the insecurity is there. You feel the lack of confidence. Maybe you're not aware of the judgment that you think somebody is judging you for, right? Because then when you can get to that point of judgment, you can resolve it. You can say, this person's judging me for something that's totally stupid and I don't need to give power to that, right? You can reclaim that power. Yeah, you get it. Like, this is like the trifecta. It's so interesting how you can take 3 of basically anything that are somewhat connected and find a way to use those to inform you of something else. You can if you can connect any 3 things, you can turn them into a system that can be a tool to help you in any particular way. Okay, so my iPad is about to die, so I'm going to turn that bad boy off. Bam. So now it's just me. Like I said, this is something that this took me forever to figure out. Maybe not forever. It took me a long time. And even knowing it, putting it into practice is a completely different beast. Okay. Because this is something that's going to show up all the time. And you can use this whole kind of framework and principle to overcome basically any obstacle or identify what's holding you back. You just have to be present enough, like in the here and now. You have to be present enough to be able to pay attention to those things. Most people don't want to pay attention to judgment. Most people don't want to pay attention to their insecurities, right? Why? Because it makes them feel bad. But the thing is if you pay attention to your insecurities just long enough to realize that it's something that you can overcome, then the insecurity is no longer a problem. And ultimately it's going to, aid you in moving forward in life and growth and all of that stuff. It's a good thing. Okay. So many people want to just focus on all the good stuff. But the truth is that the bad stuff, by paying attention to it, you get to actually remove some of it. Right. And it's a fine line, because, if you go and you're watching political debates about stuff that doesn't really matter, and then you're just getting polarized and all, this politician said this and that politician said that, and blah. It's like, that's not doing you any good, right? Because that's out there, right? Pay attention to like what's in here, what's going on in your world, okay? That's like the stuff that you want to take a look at. Because if you don't do something about it, it's only going to hold you back. You can try to ignore it and put it off, but it's going to just fester in the back of your brain or in the back of your mind, and it's going to eat away at you until you finally do something about it. So it would behoove you, it'd be in your best interest to be like, I'm insecure about this. I'm just going to admit it. I'm going to admit that I'm insecure about it so that I can do something about it, instead of this insecurity taking power over me. Because when you eliminate the insecurity, or you gain power over that insecurity, then you're reclaiming your own power, your own sovereignty, your own personal authority, so that you can do what you want to do when you want to do it, without some little nagging voice of insecurity in the back of your mind trying to tell you to do something else. Okay. Perfect example, hopping on camera and doing some sort of presentation of any sort, right? Doing a live stream, talking about something like that. This wasn't always something that I was comfortable or confident in doing. I had a whole bunch of insecurities about doing it. What if? And so what do? Well, first of all, you just do the thing that you're, insecure about doing. And second of all, you identify why you're insecure about it. where that insecurity started from, you know, what the emotions are behind that insecurity. You find a replacement emotion that you would rather have, and then what you can do to generate those feelings of security in something that you used to be insecure about. It's that simple. Do it. Do it, and it'll make your life better, okay? And that's all I got. Look, I'm telling you, if you go back, I mean, I busted through that real quick, but if you go back and you watch it maybe a couple times, it'll click. If you didn't get it the first time through, watch it a couple times and it's gonna click, and you'll be able to tackle any insecurity and resolve that and just like move on with your life. Okay, that's all it takes. That's all you have to do. So anyway, hope you got some value from this. Hope you like this. I'm going to be popping on doing more of this stuff and just seeding it all over the place, because I don't want money to be a gatekeeper to people being able to have access to knowledge, insight, and wisdom that may be able to help them live a better, more fulfilling life. So I will catch you on the next one. Take care.